that's running through our veins. Let's be renegades, good for nothing runaways. That girl got her own bag.
All right. Our next guest is Joanelle Romero, an American media proprietor. Romero's career spans over 44 years in the entertainment industry as an acclaimed actress in film and television, award-winning director, producer, writer, marketer, film distributor, recording artist, singer-songwriter, and humanitarian. Through her organization, Red Nation Celebration Institute, now in its 26th year, and representing over 570 plus Native nations, Romero has mentored more than 839 Native Indigenous filmmakers through the Institute's labs and fellowships. Romero has curated some 5,000 plus movies written, produced, and directed by Native Indigenous people that premiered at the Red Nation International Film Festival and through her Red Nation television network. Romero is deeply committed to amplifying Native Indigenous storytellers in mainstream media worldwide. Joanelle is born of Mescalero, Chiricahua, Apache, and I know I'm going to mess this one up again. Dang it, I thought I had it. And it was
Danae.
Dang it,
No
sorry.
worries. I do this all the time when I'm doing my interviews. We just got off 5 of. It's okay.
Okay. Danae.
You're good.
Paiute and Spanish Sephardic, a relative of
Powaki,
Pawnee, Southern Ute, and then
Haudenosaunee,
and Lakota. Joanelle is a traditional sun dancer, Chanupa carrier, and 40 years sober. Romero is also a mother of 2 children who themselves are graduates of Yale University and Berklee College of Music, and an active grandma of 3. Welcome to the Badass Babes of Entertainment, Joanelle.
Thank you, ladies. This is such a great opportunity, and I appreciate it.
I'm so excited to have you on because I got to meet you at the Red Nation Film Festival. And it was my first year joining Red Nation and learning more about what you do. And you do some amazing things. I was like, wow, I'm just so amazed. And the line I love the most is the one that you say, who tells the story matters. And I love that so much, and you motivated me. I am directing my first ever documentary, and we're going to the reservations in Washington the first week of April to film. And I'm super excited because it's definitely close to my heart and the labor of love, and it's very much in the social justice vein. And so I can't wait to share it with you. I'm super excited, but you motivated me, and it's happening because of you. So thank you.
Oh my God, I love hearing that because that's, our legacy is to inspire and encourage and amplify storytellers with the, the perception, with the point of view of our people, right? So we welcome allies to our festival. We have so many beautiful allies, from A-list celebrities to first-time filmmakers that, participate and want to learn more and capture some content, which is really important. Partnership is very important, and so are good allies.
Absolutely. Yeah. And with me, and I think we talked a little bit, I grew up on the Yakima Reservation, and my mom is an enrolled Yakima, and my son is an enrolled Siletz from Oregon. And so I've just really always wanted to dive in more into the culture and learn more because it wasn't so readily available when I was younger. I tried my best to be part of the Indian Club in high school. I was the vice president, did those things, but there was so much I didn't learn. And so being part of Red Nation and Native American women in film, I'm learning so much. And
good.
Yes, thank you for that.
Yes, we just yesterday we completed 5 different conversation series with an array of panelists. There was like, let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 different voices, right? Of all filmmakers, from actresses to award-winning filmmakers to Academy and of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences members, to professors. We had 2 professors. It was really quite extraordinary. So for your listening audience, we've extended our 13th annual Native Women in Film and Television and All Media Film Festival to April 4th. So you can binge watch over the weekend, during the week. There's 40 films directed by women, and you can also stream the 5 conversations.
That's amazing. I know I just subscribed to your channel as well and started watching some films. So I was really excited to see all the films that you have on there. There's a lot.
Well, that's, there's 40 for the festival, and usually well, we realized this year, that for the Native women, we have to have it longer. We have to have it like at least 2 weeks. So next year we'll be back in person. And so there's a new surge of this virus. So I'm glad that we are virtual this year, right? Keep everybody safe. And then next year we'll be back in person.
Yay. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And did I hear as well that you are the only Native American woman ever to be on the short list for an Oscar?
Yes. Filmmaker. Yeah.
Filmmaker.
I mean, woman or man, right? Just Native, Indigenous
Just
filmmaker,
Native.
period, right?
Wow.
To be shortlisted for an Academy Award, and that was in 2000. And we're what, 94 years of the Oscars,
right?
And there's a lot of changes happening over there. I'm a member of the Academy, and this year's Sunday is going to be really interesting because last year was awards was problematic. But the positive end of it was that they did it. So that's always a good thing. It's always a good thing, no matter what, to do it, right? But hopefully this year, the only thing that is a true oversight, it is an oversight. It's from a filmmaker's point of view, not very respectful for them to put the 8 categories off, to do that at the beginning and not have it be part of the main event. And so this year it appears they have more musicians performing.
Oh, wow.
And they feel that will get their audience back up. But you know what? It's our filmmakers that are really supporting the Academy. So, so hopefully they'll revisit that, reframe it for the following years to come, because a lot of our members have left the Academy because of it. Yeah.
So what motivated you to start Red Nation?
Okay, so this is it's a fun story because in 1994, I was a single mom with my daughter, and I moved back home to Santa Fe, thinking that, and then I ended up getting married, but thinking that, and having my son, but thinking that, okay, I'm going to move her back home. She's going to be with her people. She's going to be around Adobe. She can, play outside without, getting kidnapped. I don't know what I was saying. And it's so artsy there. It'll be fabulous. And I was bored out of my mind, actually. And so during India Market in 1995, in 1994, I noticed that they didn't have any contemporary Native music being performed during India Market. Oh. So there was a really innovative executive director. He was the best executive director. This August will be 100 years of SWAIA, of India Market, in August in Santa Fe. But there was no music being performed. So I went into him and I said, can we produce this concert at the Paula Soleris? And, I'll bring in all these acts from all over. And he goes, Janelle, I love your energy and your enthusiasm. I'll give you some money. I'll do the PR. I'll give you the posters. I'll print the T-shirts, but I doubt, anyone will go for it. And I don't think the artist would appreciate it. And I said, but he goes, go try it. Go ahead and try it. Well, this August will be 27. So it's a good move on his part. And what came out of that was Red Nation Celebration Institute. And we started off as a concert series, right? And we moved the concert series also to the Grammy Week. We haven't done that since 2011 for the Grammy Week because it hasn't really been funded by the music industry. So we've kind of put that on hold for a minute because it takes a lot of energy and work, right? And and funds to do this. So, but in any event, we launched as a concert series, and we still have our film festival during Indian Market, and we've launched all this other events during Indian Market every year. But so what came out of that after 3 years was we also launched our film festival too. So we brought that all to LA. So now we are the longest standing Native arts and cultural and media nonprofit in the city of Los Angeles. And we have grown with our Red Nation International Film Festival, which is the largest Native film festival in the country. And then we have our Native Women in Film and Television. And then we launched before Netflix, before Hulu, before anyone was online streaming. The only one that was online streaming was YouTube, and they had like silly content. There was nothing, legitimate really. And so we launched Red Nation Television Network, and we reached 10 million viewers in 37 countries, and it's all Native and Indigenous content. And
That's
we're just getting ready to release new content. We have 1,000 new titles.
Wow.
So we're slowly putting those out there, strategically. So, yeah.
And it seems like there is a lot coming out of Canada.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Canada is, really supports their filmmakers more than the States. So I wish the States can catch up with that groove that they have over there, but create a fund for Native and Indigenous content, for us. But in any event, Canadian films are always screening at our festival. We just had Night Raiders who picked up several awards, and that film, curating films for 44 years, I can see, that film should have been listed in the trades as one of the top 10 films of this past year.
It was good. It was so good.
Really good. It's a great film. Great film.
I know. I came out to see it, and then I told my son about it later, and he's like, "Why didn't you take me?" And I'm like, "I didn't know you would want to go." So he's coming with me this year to see the film. So yeah, I was excited that he wanted to join in and be part of it. And he's actually going to be helping me produce this documentary, and he's going with me on this trip. And a lot of the elders that we're going to be meeting with know that he hasn't had a lot of education on his culture, so they're going to embrace him when we get there, and I can't wait. I'm really excited for him to learn more about everything. And we're going to the Spokane Reservation, we're going to the Yakima Reservation, and then we're going to be up in Seattle as well, meeting with a couple of tribal elders there as well. So I'm really, really excited.
When are you going to be in Yakima?
I'm going to be in Yakima the 4th and 5th. Of April.
Of April. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes. And so when I'm done with the documentary, I want you to be the first person to see it.
Oh, I'd be honored. Thank you. Yeah,
I think that would be amazing because you motivated me, and I would love to get your opinion on how we did. So
put it in writing. Put that statement in writing. We'll put it on the website.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because it's always good to, put good words.
Yes. And I love that there are so many strong Native women that are involved. And when I was at the Red Nation Awards this year, the audience was predominantly women. And I thought that was so great. So there's a lot of support. It's
Well,
amazing.
we're this coming year we're most likely going to change venues because that lobby is really too small to have like a reception with food layout and all that kind of stuff. So this coming November, it's going to be amazing.
I can't wait. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it. We're
And
already planning.
we're also in negotiations with the cable company to broadcast it, partner
Ooh,
with us.
amazing. That
Mhm.
would be amazing. I would love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Very cool. So, what are you hoping to see from, the next generations of Native American, Indigenous filmmakers? What kind of, I know you think about this a lot. So, what are you hoping to see? What kind of change?
Well, that's a loaded question because that's something we've been discussing this whole week. What is the future, right? Because if we're, all of us are so enthusiastic about Reservation Dogs and Rutherford Falls, and then the Marty Scorsese's film that's coming out um, soon, hopefully at the end of the year. But it's that's like the and because of our institute in amplify all these years of putting our image in the forefront of the industry, um, there's also very hard cold facts and data, and the facts and data in regards to Native women is that in 1977, my first leading role was called A Girl Called Hatter Fox. That was the first time there was a contemporary Native woman story ever produced in film history, right?
Wow.
And it took Hollywood 42 years later, 42 years. How can you build a career on that? 42
Right.
years later to release Netflix's Chambers. And then in I used to make my living as an episodic television actress, like NBC, CBS, Fox,
Right.
and ABC. But in 2003 to 2018, 19, none of us were working, not even as extras. Like you didn't even see a Native woman or man, you know, like drinking coffee behind the lead actor. I mean, there was nothing. Um, they just wrote us out. They just completely wrote us out. And so then we launched in 2018, January of 2018, a call to action to address this to the networks and to the world at large, why we wear red, and which is a direct link to missing and murdered Indigenous women because of the lack of inclusion. If we're not seen and heard, then we don't matter, and these predators can just get away with murder and kidnapping, basically violence. So that's a big concern because I'm a grandma, right? And it's a big concern for the futures of our next generation of storytellers, and especially our women, our young women storytellers. So I'm very concerned about that. And so in 2019, the networks released a TV series with Irene Bedard, and then she was taken off the series. And then there was a series with Tantoon, and that was, I feel, out of a direct result of us going in behind the scenes, meeting with the networks to say, hey, you wrote us out. Why? And then here we are now in 2022, and we're back to ground zero again. There's no representation. There was one actress that did 2 shows as a featured. I think one time it was a guest, but that's the same actor. But that's great that she got to work with that. What? How? I mean, what? That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
There's not. How can you build a career? Like, how can you honestly say to someone, let's build your career? And something that got brought up in our conversations this week was that, back in the late 80s and 90s, the networks did this whole push of, oh, get on board, sign up to be in the director's thing or sign up to do the showcase for actors. And all these people get revved up and go in and nothing, no follow-up, no anything. So when
Right.
these workshops that the networks do, they don't mean anything either. Even currently, it's still, they've hired a couple of people, but it's still a very political landscape, and it's still very racist landscape.
That's really too bad. I know the season of Dexter that they put out, I was really excited for because it had a Native American actress and it was set on a reservation, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, finally, we're seeing more of this." And it was such a interesting story, and the white deer and this the symbolism in it I really loved. And not everybody understands a lot of that, but it was just so moving. And I love seeing the gal who was, and I know she was from the Twilight series as well, that played the cop, and
Mhm.
she was great. I
Yeah.
love her.
Yeah. We just need to see more representation. That's all. And
Absolutely.
maybe the guys that are making these decisions, are good-hearted people and just don't have a clue, or
Yeah.
maybe they're good-hearted people and definitely have an agenda. So because there's been so many of us. I mean, I've been in the industry 44 years, continuously working, never giving up, and being an innovator and launching groundbreaking content. But I'm just one person. What about everybody else that's trying? And so it's interesting. I'm what I'm excited about, what I'm enthusiastic about and hopeful about is that our stories are all new content and haven't been tapped into. Like
Hmm.
Hollywood keeps regurgitating the same story over and over, but with a different facelift, same actors, over and over.
Right.
And there's nothing really new except a different look. There's really nothing new. So um, our stories are untapped, right? We have
Yeah.
so many stories that haven't even been written yet. Some have been written, and some are in pre-production and post-production. But it's like in our languages, we don't have the words for hate or anger or that cuss words. We don't have those kind of words. So our thought process, right, from
Hmm.
our thought process to our heart to the paper is really quite different than anybody else's, any other languages. So we have incredible stories yet to be told. And that's what's exciting, because this whole thing our stories have not been tapped into. So it's like a whole new world. It's like a whole new emergence of storytelling. And so that's why I'm really grateful that I've been guided to launch all the things that we have and to still be here 27 years later, in moving forward and amplifying, because we're not a startup company starting from the ground up, which is going to
Right.
take years and years and years. We're not that. We're here. We've been creating original content and also amplifying Native filmmakers globally for 27 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So when you got your start, because we always ask our guests to do a shout out to a badass babe in their world that helped them on their way up.
Oh,
Who would you like to give a shout out to?
my mom and my grandmas.
That's
My mom
amazing.
and my grandmas. There's no one else. My
Yeah.
mom and my grandmas, because my mom, her dream was she wanted to be a movie star, but she got pregnant with me when she was 19. But my dad and her came out to Hollywood anyway, and she got signed to Universal Pictures, and she ended up being the bikini girl on the Red Skelton show. She was in about nine or 10 Elvis Presley films. They were very, very close. So when I was
Oh, wow.
little, she would take me on the MGM lot. So I got to really witness uh, how movies are made, by the best of the best in the entertainment industry when I was really, really young.
So is that your mom on the website with Elvis?
Yes.
That's your mom. That's amazing.
Yeah.
She's
yeah.
beautiful.
A lot of people, thank you. And a lot of people used to, when in the 60s, they used to tease her and say stuff in the press that she's like, Raquel Welch. But I must say, even as my mom got older, she's much more gorgeous than Raquel Welch.
You're not biased at all.
Because she's my mom. No, I'm not. I just stating the facts. No.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm telling you, Native American women age so well, and it's always like so hard to tell how old they are. So it's the craziest thing. My grandma, my great grandma, my mom is, it's wild. And some of the most beautiful women I really think are Native American. So including you.
Oh, well, thank you. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I want to know who this lady is next to you.
This is Megan. She's my podcast partner.
Hi.
And
I'm Megan.
She knew how excited I was to have you on the podcast. And she's learning about our background and our Native American heritage. And I've been telling her lots of stories. And so I know that all of this is just like, whoa, she's probably drinking from the fire hose right now, learning about all of this.
Yeah.
So, and the funny thing is she would probably pass for Native before I would. So,
yeah. Well, a lot of my cousins on my mom's mother's side, because of my mom's dad was Native, and then her mom was a Spanish Sephardic Jew. So a lot of my cousins are blonde, blue eyes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look like my dad, and I've got green eyes, blonde hair, and it was funny growing up. Like, I didn't look like any of my siblings. Everybody else had dark hair, and my brother and I, who have the exact same mom and dad, he got the Native looks, and so he looked like my mom's side of the family. And we'd go to school together, and they wouldn't even think we were related. That's how different we looked. We were like, they would call us salt and pepper. So, so it was kind of funny. And, but I think that I don't know if he's really embraced as much of the culture. I think I've always been more interested. And then I ended up marrying Celeste and having my son. And so with him being an enrolled, Celeste tribal member, I'm working with his tribe a lot because they have a lot of benefits for him. So I'm constantly working with them to help him. And it's amazing. It is just amazing how different each tribe is, but yet similar. It's like they have a lot of things the same, but then they each have something different and special about them. And I find that so interesting.
Where are you located?
Right now we're in Burbank.
Oh, so you're right here.
We're right here.
Oh.
Yes, we're right here in Burbank. And, but I grew up on the res. And so it's so great. And I think we talked about Joe Day. We both know Joe Day from Yakima.
Oh, I love his whole family, his wife and kids, all 500 of them.
Everybody has big families too on the res. I noticed that. Very much family oriented, and I think that's so great.
Yeah. He teased me one time. He gave me this gift, and it was Beat It. And he goes, I just want you to know I beated it, and I'm so gullible. I said, you did it? And I went, oh, shoot. I didn't.
You're like leaving him. Yeah.
Give me some shenanigans there.
I know. He's pretty funny.
Yeah.
He's a funny guy. So
we've interviewed him. The Yakima Res was one of the First Nations, maybe I think the only nation, I'd have to really look, but I think the only nation that came on board with Why We Wear Red with Secretary Deb Haaland, before she was secretary, Madam Secretary.
Madam Secretary.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I know I've been hearing a lot about the Red Road, and that has been used for being on the right path and following the Red Road. And I think that's really an amazing thing to teach, our kids growing up, and with a good lesson that you want to stay on the red road because you're headed in the right direction if you do that. And I love that. I love it's being, close to your culture and trying to do the right thing and being a person of, high moral standards. And I think that's a really, really great thing. So I want to use that in everything that I do. So I love that so much.
I didn't answer your question about like the future, right? That question for the next generation. And if anything that I can give them is to believe in yourself, however you can get there, believe in yourself, and don't give up. Because if you have been ignited with that gift of creativity and you can make it happen, but you have to believe in yourself first. You have to have incredible passion for the work that you do. And the one thing that is really important to me is to let all of our who's listening, our students and our young people to not get into drugs and alcohol. And if you are, there are places where you can go to get help to get sober. And I strongly encourage that, because that's not a traditional way of life. That's not one of our traditions. That has nothing, that was brought to us, that disease. And it's something that's eradicated our whole system. And we need to get rid of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, in doing my documentary, I've looked at stats, and they're saying that like 30% of Native American juveniles end up in juvenile detention because of drugs and alcohol.
Well, you know what? Because it comes back to, where are we? Where can our youth see themselves?
Right.
Where can they see themselves in media? And, I'll give you an example. Standing Rock, in November of 2015, we partnered with a nonprofit in North Dakota, and we invited youth from South Dakota and North Dakota to come out for our Red Nation International Film Festival and lead the first Indigenous climate change march. And so they did in Santa Monica, right? And they were like, let's stop the cars and just go into the middle of the street. And this is like Santa Monica at 4:00 in the afternoon. I said, we can't do that, but stay on the sidewalk. They were so enthusiastic. And we marched all the way up from the coast to City Hall, Santa Monica City Hall. And it was really well attended. And then they performed at our award ceremony. They were a lot of them had never been on planes or seen the ocean or had any kind of experience in a march. So when they went back home, they went to their elders and they said, we want to do a march to Washington, D.C. And those are the youth that woke the world up to Standing Rock. The adults came in later, right? That's a whole other conversation. But it was the youth that woke the world to Standing Rock, and we will always give them credit because that is a fact. And so the reason why I'm sharing this is because when you empower your youth and you engage them and do not underestimate them, look what they can do. They woke the world to Standing Rock just by saying, hey, you want to come out to this film festival and be a part of it? You want to lead a march, Well, we've never done that. That's okay. We'll stand behind you, right? We'll lift you up. And so, yeah,
that's amazing.
That says it all, I think.
So are you overwhelmed over here?
Yeah.
She's like, whoa. Because a lot of people don't know unless, they're in the culture or, connected to someone that is about everything that goes on. And so I'm going to definitely drag Megan with me this year to the Red Nation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You won't have to drag me.
So that she can see it.
Why don't you guys do the interviews on the red carpet?
Oh, my God. That would be amazing. Yes. That would be awesome.
Who are you wearing?
Yeah.
Completely, because a lot of our people come traditionally dressed.
They do.
No, it is cool. She always has earrings on. I'm like, oh, those are fun.
Yeah. I always have my earrings on. So one of my friends makes my earrings for me. Who's on the
really
res.
see them. They look really small, but
oh, sorry. Let me see. This one actually has our RSA logo for our company.
Here, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go not in the gallery. I'm going to go on speaker and see you. Okay, let me. Oh, you're not on. I can't get you on the speaker. Brenda's on the speaker.
Well, you can trust that they're stunning.
Yes, they're beautiful.
All right. I trust them. I trust it.
I love them. I'm always wearing them because he makes me a new pair all the time in different colors, and I love them so much. So makes me feel a lot more connected too, and reminds me, of where I came from. So I love that very much. But we would love to do interviews on the red carpet this year. That would be so fun. Absolutely, we're in.
Okay, you got it. Cool.
Well, thanks, Joanelle, so much for taking the time to talk to us today. And
thank you so much. Very informative.
Very. She's like, whoa, this is amazing. So this will be fun. And I'm excited to come to the awards this year and then also to show you my documentary when I get it done. So, yay.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me. And
thank you.
And our companies. It's we always appreciate any, interviews that we can get because they're very limited.
Well, there should be more, and we'll definitely shout it from the rooftops and let people know about you for sure. And
Thank you.
And we're going to bring a lot of people with us this year.
Yay! Very good. I'm excited.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we will definitely speak soon, and let's definitely stay in touch.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Bye,
you.
Joanelle.
Bye.
Bye.
Bad girl with a good heart. Lost boy got a fresh.
Our show's sponsor today is Roasted Luxury. And this coffee is so freaking good. I can't even begin to tell you. You'll never have to leave home again for coffee. And it's organic, fair trade, and small business, which we love. This is a good thing. They offer honey processed coffee, which means that the coffee is naturally sweeter. So you badass babes can add less sugar and have that second or third cup without the guilt, which we also love. Go to roastedluxury.com and use promo code BABES15 for 15% off your entire order. And you can feel good about helping a local business person who is also a badass babe. Yes. So thanks so much to Roasted Luxury for being our very first sponsor on Badass Babes of Entertainment. Hey guys, welcome to the Badass Babes of Entertainment. And we went to Malibu for a really cool event called Meet in Malibu. And we had a lot of fun interviewing some amazing badass babes out there and finding out some really interesting things about people that we met for the first time. Check it out. Welcome to the Badass Babes of Entertainment. I'm Brenda Fisher.
I'm Terra Newell.
And we're here with Iryna Fedchenko.
Fedchenko, you're right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So she is international. She has been everywhere. Grew up in the Ukraine, moved to Mexico, and then on to LA.
Yeah.
And so tell us about your journey, and you're like a huge influencer now. How did you get there?
Well, it all started when I decided that I want to follow my boyfriend, Mexican boyfriend. I moved to Mexico and I understood I want to switch career because in Ukraine I studied civil engineering and I wanted to be like a model and I like all this stuff. And actually I just modeled here in the show, so it was
nice.
Oh wow.
I love that.
And then I started my YouTube channel. I wanted to become a TV host, and I opened my YouTube channel to practice Spanish, to practice being on camera because I was very shy, and it's like it gone viral, some videos, and I started my career. I started working with brands, and I worked on TV in Mexico, but I decided I want to be work by myself, and I went full-time influencer in 2018.
Wow, that's incredible. And so you kind of built your own little empire, and you're your own boss, which that's amazing. So that's what we talk about when we say badassery. You're definitely a badass, because just showing that strength and that you can, make things happen on your own and being creative. And, none of us are really taught these things because the technology is changing so fast that you have to teach yourself. And it sounds like you did that. And what do you think was the biggest catalyst for your social media growing like it did?
Well, for social media, it definitely was like a trend at that time, like foreigners in Mexico. So I jumped into, I didn't know, and I tried videos and went, like the first video went viral, but then I had troubles to make it again the success. So I studied a lot YouTube courses, coaches, Instagram courses, a lot of stuff that I learned like for 2 years straight, and I understood, like, I built my strategy, I understood what is good for my followers, what is not working very well. So it's a lot of trying, definitely. And it's not only like the success, it doesn't build only by one person, only by me. I can name a lot of people that helped me in this journey, that gave me the opportunity, and also, of course, the people, my family, and especially my husband. He's a filmmaker, and he helped me with my first videos, and the most like his help was doing, like, you are doing great, because being on camera and making these strange videos on social media, sometimes you feel shy, like you don't know if somebody will watch them, and he always encouraged me to try new things, and a lot of people in the industry that helped me. So, and that's why I'm trying to help other people also.
So did you marry the guy that you followed to Mexico?
Yeah, it's the same one.
You did! Oh,
10 years this year.
Oh, congratulations. I love that.
Yeah,
so obviously you found the right guy and made some good decisions on the move and all of that. That's amazing. It's a hard thing to find, someone who's that supportive in a partner like that. So kudos to him. So one of the things that we do is we ask our guests to do a shout out to a badass babe in their world that has inspired them and helped lift them up on their way. And I know that we talked about your husband, but let's point out some women in your life that have been really supportive.
Well, right now I can name my sister. She's also Ukrainian, and she, from last what our country lived right now, she was very strong, So right now she showed very being so strong and being like showing me how to say, the hero she can be for me and for other people also. And a lot of people right now that going through this tragedy, they are showing a real strength. That women are struggling a lot,
Yes. So is your sister in the Ukraine now?
No, she went to Poland. She's in Poland.
She did get to Poland.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I'm so happy.
I bet you were so scared when all that started.
No, it was horrible. Like I got old like in 1 week, like, everything changes, and we went, like, the last years was really hard for a lot of people, and actually for a lot of people, this like pandemic and all of that, it changed a lot the industry. I felt like I'm changing right now. I'm coaching other people that want to start on social media, actors or people in the industry that want to make success on social media, because it's huge and it's important to be online. So I think this last year's was really crazy for a lot of people.
Yes, there was a lot of change, and I think, you're absolutely right. Coming out of, during the pandemic and then coming out of the pandemic, it's like I felt like there was a big shift, and, like people were educating themselves during the pandemic, and then as soon as we started to come out of it, it's like everybody started implementing it and jumping in and just seeing what, they could create and make happen. And because a lot of people had to shift, they lost jobs and maybe the jobs weren't there anymore, and so they changed their careers completely. And I thought that was, pretty inspiring too, to be able to be so resilient and, just keep moving, no matter what was happening. So
it's true. And adaptive, like you need to adapt right away. Like pandemic started, make videos like about another topic, because a lot of people made videos like in 3 months in advance, and then what do you do with these videos?
Yeah.
You know? If everything is changing, so right now I don't plan anything, you know, because all my plans that I made for this summer, they are changed, of course. So
Right.
I don't know. Everything is so much changing. I don't know where I be living in 2 years, in 5 years. I don't know. Life is like that, and
Yep.
I think it's cool that today we have this opportunity, live in other countries, and
Yes.
enjoy.
Yes. I don't know that I could ever live in another country. I love it here so much that I think I would be too nervous to move somewhere else. So, you know, that's really inspiring that, you know, not only have you lived in different countries, but you've lived in several different countries. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Well, California is beautiful, so why would you want to leave?
Right? I know. Once I moved here, I'm like, I think I'm home. I'm gonna stay right here because you can drive, you know, 45 minutes and feel like you're in a completely different place. And I don't know of many areas that are like that. You know, you have to drive so much farther, and you know, you can be at the beach, or you can be at Universal or
Mountains.
Disneyland, or hiking, and you know.
Snowboarding some days.
Yeah, so yeah, right, and amazing movie theaters, and I just think that we're so lucky to live here for sure.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It really is. So, tell us about, do your shout out about your social media handles so people can follow you.
Well, my name is Iryna Fedchenko, so it's Iryna Fedchenko. Fedchenko, you can follow me there, and especially on LinkedIn. You know, right now I'm jumping into this like LinkedIn and more professional environment. So
Oh, cool.
and
I'll
I'm-
follow you there too.
Yeah, thanks. See you there, because I see myself like right now I'm switching a little bit as an influencer coach and creative content producer, and I'm looking for opportunities to be maybe in helping other brands to grow.
That's
love
amazing.
that.
Yeah, and I know that I'm always looking to learn new things. So, you know, the fact that you have this knowledge and can share it is incredible. So, so thank you so
Thank
much.
you, girls.
thank
Thank
you.
Appreciate
you.
you being on the podcast, and yeah, let's definitely stay in touch, and I will follow you on LinkedIn for sure.
I will follow you back.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. So welcome to the Badass Babes of Entertainment. I'm Brenda Fisher,
I'm Terra Newell.
and we are here with Miss Julie Lopez, and she has a fantastic story about LA mommy life.
Hi, so excited to be here. Thank you. I am a mother of two. I have a 6-year-old daughter and an almost 2-year-old boy. And I was born and raised in Long Beach, LA area, so I'm very familiar with all of LA.
Nice.
And I am raising my children bilingual. So when my daughter was born, I was actually struggling with postpartum depression. And one of the things that my therapist advised was to do something I loved. And one of the things I loved was blogging. And so I decided to start blogging again. And I started a mommy blog in Spanish and English. And that's kind of how LA Mommy Life started. So if you speak Spanish, it's La Mommy Life, which means the mommy life.
Awesome.
And if you speak English, then it's Los Angeles Mommy Life, LA Mommy Life.
Nice.
Yes.
That's really great that you're doing that in 2 different languages, and I wish that my son was bilingual. I think that would be amazing. So I am giving you major props for doing that, because you know the kids that you know come from different cultures, having that language and being, you know, multilingual, I think is just amazing. So good for you.
Thank you. We actually started with just teaching them Spanish. And then, you know, as they started school, at least for my daughter, when she started preschool, we incorporated English. And she's doing pretty well. She's gotten the Principal's Award in English and math, so we're so proud. And she speaks great Spanish. She speaks with her grandparents in Spain all the time, and in Mexico too. So she's very culturally aware.
That
love
is
that.
really cool.
Thanks.
So
How does your kids like being on the blog and stuff? Do they like it? Are they like, Mom, no more pictures? How do they feel?
Oh my God, my 6-year-old, she's always asking, Mommy, is this for La Mommy Life? With like the rolled eyes thing. I'm like, yes. She's like, ugh. But then when we go to fun events, she's like, was this for La Mommy Life or LA Mommy Life? And then I'm like, yeah. She's like, wow, that's awesome. So she loves it, but then she's like tired of like the videos, the photos, and
Right.
the posing. So she has her own personality.
So between the two of your kids, which one would you say is the more high energy or the one that keeps you the busiest?
My daughter, even though
Really?
she's 6, she's very high energy. She's like a teenager, I think, already. She has her own little like personality. She wants it her way. She's very opinionated. She keeps me on my toes.
I bet.
She has great points, and sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, she has a point, but I can't let her have it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my 2-year-old's a little more, or almost 2-year-old boy, he's a little more relaxed, although he's what we call a travieso in Spanish, so he gets into trouble.
Ah,
He's a
Okay.
little explorer, but
Yeah.
quietly.
yes. The silent ones are the
Yes.
scariest when they're quiet and they're quick.
So quick.
So
Oh my
quick.
God, a blink of an eye. I'm like,
You know, and all of a sudden they have a pair of scissors, and you're like, oh my God, how'd you get those?
Right?
Yes.
Crazy.
I totally know those kids. And luckily, I only had one, and he's an adult now.
Oh.
And he was always really calm and never got really into too much. And I was very thankful for that. I don't know that I could have handled that. So God bless you. And having
Thanks.
two, you know, that's a lot. And, you know, especially when you're teaching them so many things, you know, and trying to get them prepared, and you've got a strong female there, you know, at 6 years old.
So strong.
Yes.
And I don't want to, like, you know, I don't want to take that away from her, but I need to find a balance and like teach her, you know,
Yes.
the right way. And it's so challenging.
It is. And kids in general usually don't have fear, and in our world now, you know, it's like we are so nervous about things because we know in the blink of an eye what can happen. And, you know, all of us that are into, you know, watching true crime, and, you know, we've always, you know, people ask, why are women so into true crime? And it's like, because we want to find out how not to get murdered. So, you know, and we're worried about our kids, and we're worried about, you know, everything that goes on around us. It's just part of who we are as women. So, yeah, so our kids are up against so much more than we were.
And they don't even know it.
Yeah, that's
They don't
exactly
even know
right.
what's coming. And I'm so scared
Yes.
for her, like, younger generations.
Yes, because
My
they don't
God.
understand. And then when, of course, you know, everybody gives their mom grief, like, oh, well, you don't understand because, you know, you're old. And it's like, okay, I used to be your age as well.
Yes.
And, you know, things are different now, yes, and I'm not going to follow everything that you follow or are into, but, you know, some things remain the same, and, you know, they are things that we're scared of. And now we have human trafficking, and we have all these things that we have to be so, you know, aware of, you know, even if you're out shopping with your kid. You
I'm
know,
so paranoid.
Oh my God.
Going to Target.
Right?
Target is the place.
Right?
Yeah.
I
And
follow
when
those
they-
threads. I'm like, no.
Yeah, and when they hide in the racks or that kind, oh, and they just
What
give you a
is-
heart attack.
No. It's crazy.
It's like you almost want to put like a leash on them just to make sure that you're attached and nobody can, you know, take off with
because
them.
they're playing, they think it's funny, right? The kids.
Right.
Yeah.
They
It's
don't
not funny.
understand. It's not
Yeah.
funny when you're about to have heart failure because, you know,
Or like
if
the-
they were gone.
Yes, or like even in the parking lot. Let's say it's sundown, and I am so paranoid. I'm like looking behind me, like, oh my gosh, who's watching? You know, what's going on?
Right.
And then they refuse to sit in the car seat, and it's like, come on, I gotta strap you down and close the door. Don't you understand? Someone's gonna kill us.
Yeah, exactly. You know, there's a serial killer coming. I just know it. I gotta get in the car and lock the doors.
I mean, that's the extreme
Yeah.
version, but I mean, we
But
need to be
your
aware.
mind goes there sometimes, you know, especially if you get a weird feeling. And I think that, you know, with moms, you know, and women in general, like, go with your gut. And if you're feeling weird about something, it's better to overthink it than underthink it. So,
I'm right there with you.
Yep.
Better safe than sorry, my mama always said.
absolutely. Agreed. So, what are you hoping to achieve with your blog? And, you know, what is it that you would really like to tell moms out there?
So it's a blog and podcast, and I focus it a lot in my community, Spanish-speaking community. So I actually share resources. I interview a lot of people that have, you know, really important things to share with our community. Some people Spanish-speaking communities especially don't have access to maybe attorneys, like their dad isn't a lawyer or mom or isn't a doctor. So I have a lot of guests that are doctors and are there to answer questions, a lot in Spanish. I really do seek out for Spanish speaking specialists, lawyers, doctors, or just people in general that have a message for everybody. So access, information, having the knowledge, and specifically mental health.
Right.
It's so important right now, not just for postpartum depression, but overall children's mental health. Like we need to be more aware, especially the last 2 years,
Right.
and what's going on with the teenagers. Just making it okay to talk about it, and making it okay to say that I need to seek, a therapist or seek help,
Right.
and where to go,
Yes.
and feeling comfortable doing it.
Right.
Because at least in my culture, that's taboo, and it's frowned upon. Like there's something wrong with you. You don't talk about it. No,
Right.
we need to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, communication is key. It really is, with parents, with kids, in communities, like you said, and, having the older generations kind of accept that, things are going to work out better if we communicate and we're able to share those things and support each other. And I know that's, I think every generation, we kind of get better with it and we change a little
We're
bit.
healing the
Yes.
generational trauma.
Yes.
And it runs so deep in the Latino community.
Yes.
And I think it's so important because when you share, it's like, Brené Brown says this, there's power in vulnerability. And when you share, someone else feels comfortable enough to share, and it opens up their world where it's like not so scary anymore.
Agreed. Yes, definitely. And that's kind of what I'm going with. Having the more people that share, the more people that share the information and their experience, the more comfortable others are
Absolutely.
with seeking help.
Yeah.
Very good point. So we always ask all of our guests to do a shout out for a badass babe in their world that has inspired them and lifted them up. Who would you like to do a shout out for?
I actually have her right here. She is awesome. She's my cheerleader, and I can always count on her. Angelica.
Aw.
And her handle is Angel BB Girl. Oops.
Nice.
Thank you.
Awesome. That is so cool. I love that. And, women supporting women and, really realizing when someone has been, their cheerleader, their support, and their person out there that's always, got their back. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, that's her definitely. So thank you for the
Awesome.
opportunity.
Yes.
I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for
Thank
stopping
you
by.
so much.
Thank you. Bye.
This episode was produced by me, Megan Ketz.
And me, Brenda Fisher.
Thanks to our Grammy-nominated sound engineer, Herman Villacorta. We have another amazing guest next week, so be sure to listen. If there's a topic you would like us to cover, message us on Instagram at Babes of Entertainment, also on Facebook, Babes of Entertainment, and on Twitter, Babe_podcast.
And now TikTok, Babes of Entertainment on TikTok. Woo, woo, woo. This podcast was produced by RSA Entertainment and Rogue Matter. Join the movement. Go Rogue.
Bad girl with a good heart. Lost boy got a fresh start. And she's my gasoline. Slick chrome on the Mustang. Drop top, no we don't play. 'Cause I'm her nicotine.